In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A little girl asks her father, "Daddy, why is my name called Diamonds?" And her father replies, "Well, my dear, it's because your mother loves diamonds." And then the little girl says, "Daddy, yes, why is my sister called Ruby?" And her father answers, "Well, my dear, it's because your mother loves rubies." Then the little girl thinks all a while and she says, "Daddy, yes, why is my brother called Dick?" That's a disgusting joke, isn't it? I wonder how many people are going very red out there. So, that's an embarrassing joke. How disgusting. I've never heard anything.
I was going to say, I hope none of the ladies listening got that.
Yes. Oh, I should have said, ladies, please stick your fingers in your ears. Well, we'd like to welcome everybody from Radio Soapbox, or Soapbox Radio, rather, and Radio Windmiller. Sorry, hello, hey!
Hey.
And broadcasting to Wisconsin and all over the United Kingdom. And we're also on PukeTube as well. And there we go. And we've got a super evening, and we've actually had a reporter reporting from Dorset. He sent me an email on the Hotline news, which is going on in Dorset, in Fockham, because he's another branch of Fockham, you see. So should we go straight over to that, or should we wait? We will leave people on tenterhook, shall we?
Why not?
Later.
Keep them guessing.
That's right, yes. Now let's have a look, see who's in chat tonight, and who's going to get the honour of giving a two-finger salute to a celebrity or politician of their choice. So, bloody Nora, that's keen. We got Sue Sparkle. 3 minutes past 7. Now that's bloody keen, isn't it? Hello, Eric. Just checking to see what the topic is this evening. We'll pop back at 8 o'clock. Well, you popped in and popped up. So remember, you can have a two-finger or one-finger salute if it's an American. Salute any politician or celebrity of your choice. So there we go. And don't know who this geezer is. That's right. You have to do things the opposite way round. I got a point away from you to point to you because the cameras ask about tit, you know. Aunt Sally, evening, folks. What a fancy... I know. I've got to do a long opening now because it links up with Soapbox Radio and Radio... or Radio... Okay, I get it asked about face. Anyway, Soapbox Radio.
We know what you mean. I like the music.
Windmiller. And so that's the reason. And also I've got to do an outro as well. And at 10 o'clock, strictly, we got to say goodbye to Soapbox Radio, but we can still carry on after 10. So that's the thing. So we got here, that's that bloody bloke in spam again, isn't it? And then we got, what was it? Nah. Malane.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
Hello, Malane. Hello, Malane.
Hiya.
I just missed it. Laugh out loud. Only just joined in. Oh, that's a relief, isn't it? She didn't hear the smutty joke at the beginning. So whatever you do at the end of the show, don't go back to the beginning. Hear the smutty joke. It's very smutty. And, I mean, let's face it, people like us, well, we get very embarrassed, wouldn't we, with jokes like that? Mark Anthony, evening all. Got Paul.
Hey.
Evening all. That's it. And we got Kitty Rat. Hello, Kitty Cat Rat 1000. Hello, Cat.
Cool name.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Jojo Gizmo. Check your... Oh, bloody hell. Tits up again. Sorry about that. Is that... What is it about this poxy microphone? It keeps self-adjusting. Please excuse this slight interlude. You know, do-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Dee-dee-doo. Right. Excuse me whilst I just adjust the microphone. Talk amongst yourselves, please. There, where are we? Oh, it is bloody low, isn't it? Very low. Where are we? Come on. Come on. Microphone. Here we go. No, I don't want to disable it when I put it on. It should be adjusting itself. Here it goes. Right. Sorry about this. Right. Speakers, cable, blah, 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 blah. For some unknown reason, the bloody microphone doesn't want to adjust itself. So let's go.
Do you want to borrow mine?
Yes, please, if you could. Yes.
I'll pass it over.
Oh, I got it now. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Whee! We're there at last. See, that shows the true professionalism. Sound is spot on. Our sound man, Paul English, has just said the sound's spot on.
Booming.
You need no need to adjust. So that's it. Hello. Hang on. What have we got here? Deb. Oh, you Paul. Hello, Deb. Wait. If you want to come on, please come on. There's a seat here waiting for you. So, you know, come on. And I do hope you're feeling a lot better now. I like what Paul said. Your mic is so low, Chris, it makes one of Stabber's speeches sound interesting. Oh no, I'm now too bleeding loud. Oh, sod it. And popping the mic. Oh, Christ. Hang on a moment. Bit more adjustment. Here we go. So, my mic. I think I'll just drop it down a little bit. How's that, Paul? Is that all right, mate? Because he's monitoring the sound for us.
That sounds good from my end, if that helps.
Yeah, sounds good from mine as well. But that's it. Anyway, I've adjusted it down a little bit. So on with the show. Hang on. Paul says, turn it back to where it was. All right. We are having fun tonight, aren't we? So, okay. Ooh, here we go. Right, that's it. And I might turn it down a little bit in another area as well. And sorry about this. When you link up with several people, you've got to get the sound just right. And I'm just adjusting my microphone down a little bit. Okay, that should be just right now. So I hope that is, and I do apologise for this this slight technical. No shouting. He better. You are fine all along. No need to adjust a thing. Oh, okay then. Right. Well, good evening, everyone, and we're going to talk about when the lights go out, because. Have you got a feeling that someone like Starmer might trip over the light switch and turn all the whole bleeding power off in Great Britain? Because there's been some power outages in Spain, Portugal, someone told me Poland as well, and Hungary. It's really weird. Now, let's face it, we're getting all our power now, or most, I think, was it 10% of our power comes from stupid middle-aged windmills and solar panels, and they're going to darken the skies. Duh. And I saw a beauty today. In Liverpool, you know these battery cars? Liverpool Council, they're doing a deal with some energy company. And what happens is these street lamps, you'll be able to plug an electric car into them, you see. And there's two types of batteries apparently on these electric cars. Ones that just take energy, but ones that not only take energy but give it as well. Now, this is the thing that made me laugh. So if you've got an electric car, and say there's a row of terrace houses and loads of lights all down the road, people have got their cars all plugged in. If you only want to use 40% of your power on your car, you can then sell the power back to the power company at night when they need the power, because they won't be getting power by solar or wind. But there's one question I've got. What about in the middle of effing winter when you don't get much light and possibly not much wind. So you've got to park your car, plug it in, and then work out how much you're going to use it the next day. Lovely, that is, isn't it? So, if you think, well, I'm not going to use my car tomorrow, I can have 90% of the energy and I get a bit of dosh back, and you think, oh shit, and you wake up in the morning, or you get an emergency, you only have 10% power in your car, and it'll take about 6 hours to charge it.
Crazy. Hopefully by winter they've managed to block the sun out anyway. I mean, the sooner they do that, the better.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait for the sun to be blocked out.
Well, we get too much of it, don't we, in this country?
Yeah.
Especially
we've had
where
a
you
quarter
are.
this month. Oh yeah. I mean, it's red as up here in the northeast. Can I just put a shout out for the northeast? Come to the northeast for your summer holidays this year, ladies and gents. It's cracking.
Yeah, I know. Especially Scarbados. That's supposed to be the place to be.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can actually smell the sea air on a Thursday afternoon when the burger bars are closed, but that's only a rumour, I believe. No, actually, it's quite nice, Scarborough. But I think you've got quite a nice coastline where you are. I mean, where was your? It's sort of, it's
well,
quite wild.
I would say that the northeast, amongst other things, I'd say that the coastline is one of its best features. All the way up to Scotland from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you very far from Scotland? When you look on the map, it's about half inch. I mean, what's that? I mean, it's about 100 miles, aren't you, from Scotland, or 50?
Oh, I was going to say it's not that far, but in brackets, not far enough. Oh. No, I'm about 40, 50 miles from the borders of Scotland, I guess.
Really? It's about the same distance as I am from the sea. It's about the nearest sea is Morden-on-Sea, which is not sort of river mouth, and the nearest one to that is Southend, which is about 48 miles from here. And once you've been to Southend, I don't think you really want to return. Have you ever been there, Steve? It's some people find it quite nice.
Do you know what? I don't believe I've been there, so I can't.
You haven't missed much. You haven't missed much. No. But are you very far from Lindisfarne? That's a place that fascinates me, Lindisfarne.
No, it's probably I guess probably less than an hour's drive from where I live.
Really?
There's an island there, Lindisfarne Island, and I think it's well known for its wildlife, like a bird sanctuary, I believe. Yeah, that whole area of coastline's fantastic. Loads of castles, rugged coastlines, fairly quiet beaches. I live on a place called the Blythe Riviera. It's like the south of France. It's like Saint-Tropez.
Yeah,
but
I can see by the tan you got.
It's not bad. That's
I mean, look at my tan. I mean, it's I mean, I don't put any fake tan on. It's just natural colour. This is just a sort of kind of pale white, isn't it?
Well, get yourself up to Blythe for the week.
Blythe, that's an idea.
Bring some sensible footwear if you walk on the beaches, because as the drugs capital of the northeast, there might be some discarded things on the beaches that you don't want to stand in.
Well, the thing is it right? You don't rip you off with car parking charges where we're up there. You can just park anywhere you want. Is that right? Because down here you get. Well, I mean, you have to pay to break wind, I think, soon. I mean, you can't park anywhere in Southend.
I think the parking police have got you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I was in Middlesbrough not so long back, and Middlesbrough town centre it's got double yellow lines everywhere. Then it's got parking meters everywhere. Do you know the ones that you've got to? I don't know. You must have to use your phone or something. Can I just say? I mean, I don't know if it's going to break the YouTube banks, but I don't pay for parking. I mean, come on, who's paying for parking in the 21st century? Are you all crazy?
Good. And do you get the men in funny suits knocking on your door saying things?
Oh, yeah, occasionally. Yeah, occasionally. I just tell them I'm not interested.
Just say, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, go away, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or make out they're a Jehovah's Witness. But actually, we've actually got a gentleman from the South End Tourist Board on here.
Wow.
And he said, yes, Mark Anthony. And he said, South End is a shithole. Yes. As I've often said, part of South End comes with you when you leave, and it's usually on the sole of your shoe. Especially if there's a dog churning one out on the old beach, you know.
Hey, you're really selling it.
Yeah, come to South End. It's very famous for things, though. I mean, it was famous for a typhoid outbreak in the 1930s when several people died. Seriously. Yeah. What is it? It's the seafood. They found out it was polluted, so quite a few people had typhoid. What else is it famous for? Kiss Me Quick hats. Yeah, that's about it, really. But it's full of seaweed, so it stinks of high heaven when the tide goes out. But we're going to talk about what's going to happen, you see, when the hamster gets off the wheel and the bloody lights go out. Because I've got a funny feeling we're going to have times where they're going to ration energy. And people who want their electricity at the peak time will pay more money. And if you want to use your equipment at 2 o'clock in the morning, then you get it cheaper and that sort of crap. So they're up to something to screw more money out of us. So what do we need in an emergency? I mean, as I say, the Fockham survival guide, which is similar to the SAS one, is if in doubt, panic. That's the advice. Panic.
I used to say panicking is for the public, but now I'm a member of the public. What I do is I usually have a drink before making decisions. So yes, I mean, because I'm from the Blythe Riviera, which is like, I'm sure it's
Champers.
I mean, Paul said it's twinned with Harlow. I'm pretty sure it's twinned with Saint-Tropez. But this is how we rock in Blythe with a nice glass of prosecco.
Oh, very nice too.
Champion.
And also, well, down here, you see, we use a more smarter drink in England with, just the little thumb is raised. Sorry, little finger's raised, which is a bit difficult because I've got one of these bleeding. I've got a gammy finger. It's the old, what do they call it? Viking thing.
Arthritis.
Viking thing.
All right.
Arthritis. It's where it turns up.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah.
It keeps turning up like that. So Miles has told me massage it and press it down and hit the bastard with a. Well, he didn't say this, but I hit the bastard with a mallet. That'll get the bastard. But I don't think I'll be going near anybody with a scalpel. Thank you. To cut my finger out. So no, thank you. Cut around my finger. Yes.
You ever thought of shooting your finger off with a pistol?
That's a bloody good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it painful?
One of my mates done that.
Did he?
Yeah. So don't muck around with pistols, ladies and gentlemen. You might blow a finger off.
Was it the infamous railway curve at Morpeth has claimed a number of rail accidents? Blythe is a beautiful town. Isn't it twin? Well, did you know it is twin because Harlow is the drugs capital of the South East.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, fair play to Paul. He said it's a beautiful town. Come on, nobody's going to believe that, Paul.
well, if you think, do you know with the story behind Harlow? After World War II, they had a load of cement that they was going to build bunkers with. So they decided, what the bloody hell should we do with all this cement? Loads and loads and loads of it, truckloads of it. And someone said, I know, let's build Harlow. So everywhere you look, it's concrete.
Wow.
Concrete buildings here, concrete buildings there, concrete. They've even got concrete statues. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very strange place because Old Harlow is quite, I wouldn't say picturesque, but it's quite quaint. And then you go sort of half a mile down the road and you get to Harlow New Town.
Wow. Yeah.
Shithole. It looks like as if it was built in the 60s, and it looks as if it got to the year 1965 or 68 and just stayed there. You still get people walking around with flared trousers and anoraks on, from the 60s. Sort of. Yeah. But I'm really intrigued. What do you have? This medallion around your neck, Paul? No, you're not. Paul.
Oh, that.
You're Steve. Yes. What is it? Don't mind asking.
It's a tiger's eye. Do you know? I forgot what it's made from, but it's been charged with the scalar wave spooky magic.
Really?
So yeah, I'm invincible. I'm invincible with this. Yeah.
Bloody Nora. Really?
Yeah.
But shungoi. Some people have shungoi, don't they, around their neck? Which is you're supposed to be able to purify water with that. But it's from Russia, so you might get it wrenched from your neck nowadays. Now, Mark Anthony said, "Oh, by the way, we've got Asperger's as fudge." Hello.
Hey.
Now, was it sea houses is the best for fish and chips? Is it?
Yeah,
People
yeah,
know that. Yeah. Now we got here. It will start with energy rationing to get people used to it. Then they will start giving people a carbon allowance to limit people's energy use, all in the name of net zero and for the common good, of course. Yes, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Now it says here, he get right on my nerves, or is it a she? Laugh out loud. Oh, you're talking about Keir Starmer. Or have you seen that with the French president, what's his name now? Macron, or ex-president. His wife gave him a right hand. Oh, sorry, his partner, whatever it is. Did you see that? They're just coming out to play.
No.
You see you see the door, and there's a bloke standing near the door, and suddenly you see his fist go, bosh!
Wow.
and then he goes, and she, he, it, or whatever it thinks itself is, it looks like a stick insect, and they're walking down the stairs from the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes. Now
He
Sue
deserves a good shoeing.
But he does, I can tell you. But do you think his wife is a he? There's every possibility.
Do you know how I like to speculate, but there's certainly some in place.
I think Michelle Barmer is.
Oh.
Michael. Definitely. I mean, with bloody shoulders like that and the hips like that, that's a bloke's hips. Definitely. Now, we've got a bit of a war going on here. No, black pill is the best for fish and chips. No, Izzy Izzard.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I do hope mentioning that name didn't put people off their fish and chips. or his name's Carol now, isn't it? He's changed his name.
Really?
Izzy Izzard. Yeah, he cross dresses or something. Or dresses as a woman.
Yeah, well, can I just respond to Sue? Because I certainly can't. I wouldn't cycle to Blackpool for fish and chips.
No.
I mean, sea houses is pushing the boat out, to be fair. But the jury's out.
Now, Sue Sparkle said she wants Izzard for raspberries. Very wise choice. I can't stand the bastard. So, Eddie Izzard. So, Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
And, he or she or it or what pronouns he, she, it or whatever it is. Anyway, nutter. Now, what do we do when the lights go out? Someone, hamster gets off the wheel. We get a load of bullshit. I mean, I'm not a survival expert, but I would have thought the most important thing is a bleeding candle. Or a torch.
Yeah. Well, just as I said earlier, the first thing is Panicking's for the public. And I know we're all members of the public, but
Mm.
we don't need to panic first and foremost. And one of the good things, or one of the strategies to on how not to panic, is basically to be forearmed with knowledge. So if we're already aware that certain things might happen, and let's face it, living in clown world in the in the 2020s,
Mm.
the most crazy things that you can imagine are probably the most obvious things that are going to happen. So the lights go out. First and foremost, I say whoopee doo. The lights have gone out. There's a couple of things which might be helpful if you want the lights back on. If you've got a little portable petrol generator or one of these electrical generators, which are relatively expensive, they're very handy to have. But candles are cheap. Everyone should have a little stockpile of candles. But not only that, it only goes dark for 12 hours of the day, or thereabouts.
Mm.
Hey, get an early night.
That's right. Increase the population as well. Britain needs more people, higher
Yeah.
population, indigenous. So but what about they'll probably have a power cut though on
Mm.
the 21st of December, which is the shortest day. That's when you're going to
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
power cuts. It won't be in midsummer. It'll be in midwinter.
Yeah, exactly. Or it'll be when the football's on or something, just to really
Hmm.
aggravate people's
Oh yes,
emotions.
piss
But
people off.
one important thing is really for people who are dependent on electricity, let's say for whatever medical purposes that they might have, if they're on, I don't know, some sort of dialysis machine or something like
Hmm.
that. People who really need electricity to drive something that's vitally important need to have some sort of something in the bank to think, hey, if the power does go off, what can I do? Where can I go? As one of my friends got a little petrol generator, or can you club together with your family to get something like that? So
Yes.
think of all these things. Everybody else, hey, if you cook on electricity, just have a gas camping stove, or have an alternative means of cooking food. In that way, they can do whatever they want. It's not a big deal.
Hmm.
I,
Between
I
you and I, sorry, carry on,
yeah.
carry on. Sorry.
Well, just to back things up, I spent my entire military career in the dark. I mean, I didn't even know how ugly I was until I left the army. Everything was pitch black. I mean, we had state of the art night vision gear. Why? Because we literally never saw the light of day. Everything we'd done was at night, and not only that, we never used. I would say I went through nearly 30 years without using a torch at night for almost anything.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. God, that's why I always got lost. That's why I always
Well,
got lost and bumped into things.
and another thing that amazed me, did any of you go down with colds when you was outside near fresh air? Because that's a strange thing. I've noticed people that are outside a lot don't get colds.
Yeah. Well,
Because you're
first and
always.
foremost, I'm from the Blythe Riviera. I don't know what cold is. So, and
Yes.
secondly, anyone in the northeast is immune to the cold because you're brought up without a coat. And
Yeah.
thirdly, we were that busy in the army, we didn't have time to get colds. Do you know that there's a famous
Yeah.
line, and I think it's the film with Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
and one of the characters says, "I ain't got time to bleed." Well, we didn't have time to get colds.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a funny thing that because that's interesting. That really is interesting. But with this night, I mean, I suppose everybody had night vision goggles and that they're walking around. It all got your eyes got used to the dark. That's another thing because your eyes do get used to it.
yeah, definitely.
But
I mean, it's
but
you do get used to the dark. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's
So the
fascinating.
reason I'm saying that is, if the power does go off, well, it's you can still function. It's just
Hmm.
a little bit more complicated and a little more
Well,
uncomfortable.
the other thing though, if the power goes off for any length of time, you won't be able to get petrol or fuel because
Mm.
it'll go out. Because they might make out that there's been a cyber attack or something from the
Mhm.
Ruskies, or there'll be a false flag, And there'll be people, and they'll show hospitals, people going, the usual crap that they put out. So there is a thing called a Petter engine, which was first built, a diesel engine, in the 1920s. And it has such a brilliant design. I believe they're still making it today, and it hasn't changed much because it is such a good design. And it's got a big flywheel. You start it by just flowing. You just turn the flywheel, and it just goes. Bop, 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 bop. And they use them on canal barges and things.
Oh wow!
And they just go, bop, 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 and you can just leave them on all day. And again, Petter or things. But I like primer stoves. I've got a couple of them. And I think they're the dog's doodahs.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, once they roar, don't they? And
when they get going, they're brilliant. In fact, it's too hot sometimes for cooking. You cook a tin of beans and they stick to the bottom of the pan. They're that hot.
Oh yeah. Well, I always remember when I was a kid, we used to go out on picnics a lot, and my uncle, he was a bit flash. He always had the latest things, and he had all the gas stuff, these little sort of effeminate cookers. My mum and dad didn't have much money, so we had an old Scout's primer stove. I've still got it.
Oh yeah.
And what used to happen, my uncle said, "Oh, you need to get one of these." He'd switch it on, and he'd put a kettle of water on. My dad would be pumping away at the old primer stove. We'd have boiling water long before his, and it'd still be lukewarm. You put your finger, but ours is boiling away. They really go to raw like anything. But you're right; they're too efficient because they burn everything, don't they?
Yeah. You've got to keep an eye out for them.
Yeah.
But the one important thing is, a lot of people, if they're starting to prep or starting to panic about whatever comes our way in the future, and that anticipating prepping for certain things, the first thing to do is not to go crazy and spend a fortune on things. Let's keep it real with what's realistic, what's affordable. I like the outdoors, so I go camping and cycling and this kind of stuff. So I can kind of justify some of the equipment I've got because I use it. I go camping, so I've got camping stoves. If you don't do activities like that, then it becomes a bit of an expense that you may or may not be able to justify. So keep things realistic, budget-wise. Don't go overboard.
And the other thing is, what do you think of those? I don't think the army use them anymore. They're like little tiny metal gizmos that you open up, but the Germans actually invented during, I think, in the 30s. And they use little blocks, which you can't get anymore because the bastards have banned them. And but you can make your own blocks. And I haven't tried it myself yet, but apparently you can make them out of sawdust and candle wax. So I heard.
Yeah,
how efficient they are, I don't know. I might do a YouTube on it. I might try it out.
Yeah, but, the things you're talking about are called Tommy cookers. They used to be known colloquially, but also known as hexi stoves or hexamen.
That's it, hexi stoves. Yes.
So hexamen, for whatever reason, has been banned. And I've looked on eBay and all sorts for it, but you can't get it anywhere.
No.
But I'm not sure. I don't think it's particularly good for your health. From what I recall, I don't think it's something you should be breathing in. But again, if they've outlawed it or you can't get it, well, it's pretty pointless. But the British Army, I know, have replaced hexamen with like an alcohol gel, which again, they're not the fastest things in the world to brew up a cup of tea with or anything, but they work very well.
Another one that I saw, which I haven't tried myself, is used to be able to get them from IKEA, but I think you can get them in Tesco's, and there are other supermarkets you can get them in, and they're Cutley. What do you call it? It's like a sort of stainless steel container with holes in it all the way around it, and you put your cutlery in it when you're washing up. Yeah. But you can use it to put twigs in and have a fire, and you can put a pot on top of it. and it can be like an
Yeah.
ordinary burning fire. Um, but what do you think of now when you talk about fire and that? What's your view of? All right, you've got matches which you can buy almost anywhere, and they're cheap as chips. But these flints things that you strike, what they call them now,
Mm.
fire sticks,
Fer- ferro rods.
ferro rods.
Yeah.
They're I've got ferro rods, yes,
Yeah.
and I've found that the easiest way is to grate a little bit of the ferro rod first, and then strike it, and then it goes up.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
my sort of technique. But I think well, they're all right in an emergency if you run out of matches. But if you've got matches,
Mm.
well, you know.
I
But
mean, for for most purposes, if you've got a lighter,
mm,
I mean, it's worth having backups. I mean, I use ferro rods, but it's not usually my first go-to item. I mean, I carry a lighter in my pocket, and I mean, when I've been doing things with the army, I've always had a lighter in my pocket, a lighter in my rucksack, and a lighter in my weapon. So I've got three lighters essentially wherever I go. And
mm,
on top of that, I'll have some waterproof lifeboat matches as a backup in case any of those options fail.
very good. It's
So
excellent,
it's
isn't it?
worth,
Bloody hell.
yeah. I'll be honest, I never carried a ferrocium rod when I'd done anything with the military, but I do use them now for survival things because they pretty much
Mm.
last forever and they're bomb proof.
Well, that's a bloody good one. That is, I mean, because you can get the lighters from the pound shop, and
Yeah,
they get four of them for £1. So you can't get
yeah,
much cheaper than that. So
hmm
you know, that is good though. You have three of them. So because I always like backup, because if you don't have backup,
yeah,
things can go tits up. Something awful, you know. Um, but so you're at home, so you got your torch. I tell you another one I heard is if you got a milk container, you know those plastic ones. Well, if you take the lid off and you got an empty one, and you put water in it about halfway, then put your torch, stick it with some tape over the top. It really magnifies the light out, so you can get much more light from it than if you just had the ordinary torch hanging up. So that's a
mm,
top tip if you're at home, you can
yeah.
use that. Um, but what? So we got the light sort of situation sorted out. Um, what about torches? What's about the best sort of torches to have? I mean, I've tried a wind up torch and it's crap, absolute crap. I would never have one
Mm,
again. Have you seen them? Where you go,
really? Yeah.
it's a load of shit. It's awful. It lasts for about a couple of minutes. It goes,
Mm,
and you got to keep. So
yeah. Do you know there's so many? I mean, there's so many different options nowadays. I must have had like 1,000 torches. Um, I was probably a torch collector at one time. I think I had that many different types, but I've still got torches from when I was probably 18-year old. Some of them are still working,
really,
but having said that, there's plenty of things that just you'll use them once or twice and then they don't seem to work very well after that.
well
So
that's it. Yeah.
yeah,
But a
uh,
candle is pretty reliable because let's face it, you like the bastard, and it just keeps
yeah.
flickering, doesn't it? So I mean, you can't really go far wrong with a candle, can you?
Do you know
They're
what
cheap
else is
enough.
pretty bomb proof as well?
Mm.
A good investment is like a petrol lantern. I've got a few petrol lanterns,
Really?
and they were all ancient when I got them. They were all second hand, and as long as you don't smash the glass as long as you don't run out of wick, the things will pretty much last forever. And so
Wow.
that's an investment. And not only that, I mean, I'm an advocate for natural flame as opposed to electrical things. So
Mm.
as much as electrical things has got its uses, and I wouldn't knock it entirely. I always try to go for the natural flame option. So a petrol lantern, make sure you've got some lamp oil. I don't know, a gallon of lamp oil will last you for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and a decent sized wick in your petrol lantern, and you've got a backup lighting for years and years.
That's interesting. So a petrol one, or I mean, I've got one that runs on paraffin. I've got a paraffin
Mm,
oil lamp, but the trouble is, paraffin's very expensive now, and it's not that easy to get. I mean, it used to be cheap and get it almost anywhere. Not now. You can only
Right.
get it in
Yeah.
sort of gardening places, and you get a pissy little container of it for about £4 or £5. You know, it's bloody expensive, but it does last a long time. That's a good thing. But yeah, that's a good one. And what about? Can you make your own sort of torch? So when I say torch, from twigs and that, can you put animal fat around it or fat or something? Because I did find out that you can actually use an orange as a candle and use the white
Mm.
bit in the middle. I mean, does that work? I never tried it.
I missed some of what you said. You got cut off, but
Yeah,
making a candle out in nature.
yeah, that would be the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the work to an extent.
Mm,
As long as you can find the resources. I
mm.
mean, one thing that you could do in the woods, which is fairly readily available, is pine resin. Pine resin's the waxy stuff
Really?
that exudes out
Yeah.
like evergreen trees. Very flammable, and I mean, it's got healing qualities as well. So you can use it
Really?
to help, like an antiseptic to put on wounds, etc. But it's you can make candles out of that. You can make torches, you know, if you're out in the woods. It's, but it's limited. You're probably better off with a 5 pound LED torch from Tamu or something.
Mm.
If you rather than rely upon bushcraft skills.
Yes, but I like this idea of a petrol lantern or something like that.
Mm.
I wonder. I mean, could you could it run on vegetable oil? That cheap, shitty things like sunflower oil and things like that.
Mm.
Mind you, it might be a bit smelly. Because
Yeah, you get a lot of smoke off them and probably a limited light.
yeah,
I've can't say I've tried it on vegetable oil, but it
mm,
probably would work to some degree. But I mean, if you can get hold of lamp oil or paraffin, like you say, it's gone up a fair bit. Paraffin, same with
it's
I
right.
mean, the
It's,
Coleman's fuel for these dual fuel things. That's quite
yes.
expensive now.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is. It is. I mean, I've gone off of gas. Where can you buy these little gas cylinders now? They're not that
Mm.
readily available. You used to be able to get them everywhere, almost anywhere. Walk into a shop. You used to sell them in
Hmm.
supermarkets. Don't longer do. You can't. I haven't seen them in supermarkets for years.
Mm.
Um,
So this
now,
is things to consider for people. If there are, and I mean, I would encourage everybody to have some sort of backup system or plan or some goodies at home that will help them through a crisis. So
mm,
if the lights go out and you've got nothing, well, it's going to be pretty boring and dull and uncomfortable and not very inspiring when you go forward into that little crisis. But if you've got a cupboard full of goodies, things that will help you through that little period of time, such as gas, such as paraffin, such as fuel for your cooker, all of these things, torches, batteries, all of the things that are going to help you through this little emergency period, then it is kind of
mm. Hello, you frozen? Still there?
money well spent.
Are you-
Socially occurs.
yeah, that's interesting. Also, with food now, I between you, I'm a prepper. I have been for years. And I've got lots of tinned food, and I've got some that's sort of 10 years old plus. And my attitude is tinned food. All right, might taste that as good, but I had a soup the other day that was it best before. I think it's 2006. It
Mm.
tasted all right. What I do, I put them in my slow cooker, and I'll sort of stew it overnight. You know, and I put other things in there as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was quite tasty. It was, you know. But what I heard is that if you buy sardines, tin of sardines, and you actually pierce the ones with your Swiss Army knife,
Mm.
pierce the tops, then you can put some paper in the top. Okay, catch light to it, and and you can. I've seen it on YouTube where a bloke bowls a mug of water. Is that bullshit, or is it, can you actually
No,
do that from a tin of sardines?
yeah,
Because you got to have the oil ones, things like sunflower oil, which is not good for you, but you burn it off, and you got nice hot sardines to eat as well. So,
yeah, it's doable.
yeah, I think what was it? No, he pulled the lid off. That was it. Then he put paper on top. Then
Did
he
he
put light
not?
to it.
All right. I mean, I've seen that done where you pierce it and use some sort of wicking material, whatever that might be,
Yeah.
inside the holes that you make in the top,
Mm.
and it acts as just like a candle essentially. So you got a candle fueled by oil, sunflower oil or whatever your mackerels are in. Obviously, it's not going to work with tomato ketchup.
No, you got to have
So,
sunflower oil, which is
yeah.
not good for you because is it tractor? No, is it rapeseed oil? Is tractor lubricant? And I think sunflower oil is not far behind it. But
Right.
what sort of people always talk about knives and things. Now I've got a Swiss Army knife.
Classic.
And these, did you know that these are made without human hands touching them at all? They're all
Get
done on a
out.
machine.
Wow.
Seriously. And they just go, and they're like sort of diarrhea. They come out the other side. And this is how they got the price down. Because if humans had to put these together, the price would be quite high, but they've got the price down. But this is the Huntsman. Is there any particular one? I actually find that I don't use the blade very much, but the good thing about if you get a Chinese knockoff, they can be dangerous because here you see the blade is really solid, so you can cut things, including my finger at the moment, and the blade isn't going to sort of wobble out either side or crack or do so, or even spring up into your eye or something. That is Victorinox, bloody good quality.
Yeah.
But what I use on my bike, because you're a keen cyclist as well, is this is my go-to for my bike. And what I use the most on my bike is pliers. That is used the most. I don't think I've ever used the knife on this. This is not a Leatherman. I got this as a present. I don't know what it is. It's a Chinese special, I think. But I have to admit, the knife blade on here is pretty solid. It's not cheap. It's a good one. But I haven't used it, and this has got me out of trouble loads of times because, as we were saying before we come on air, I'm one of these people who put slime. Yeah, that is the name of something in me tubes of my bike, and what it does, it tends to gum up, or if you've got tubeless tyres, it tends to gum up the valve, when you pump the tyres up. So, little tip, if you've got tubeless tyres or you put shit in your tyres like I do, put a little bit of washing up liquid on the tyre valve, screw it in, and that will keep it nicely lubricated and you won't have troubles, and you won't have to undo the bleeding tyre valve if you've got Presta valves with a pair of pliers because it's all gummed up and you can't open the bastard. So that's the little tip. If you're cycling, pliers are generally the best to take with. But I don't really take a toolkit that much with me. I only take it if I go a fair distance. And of course, you got this one, which weighs a ton. I do not take this with me, but it's got everything you want on there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean it's got all the stuff on there. But the trouble is, it's so heavy. Yeah. I'll only take it if I go a long distance on a push bike.
Yeah.
Short distances, tough tits after walk home if there's a problem.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, you've got you've got actual sockets on here, and I have actually taken this with me because my my seat came loose. So that's why I'm speaking in a very high voice because I use the seat. Yeah, like Keir Starmer, you might enjoy it without the seat on it. You never know. See, that's the thing. Sorry, carry on, Steve.
Oh no, you speak, Aaron.
No. I was just saying, Keir Starmer he's been arsoning around, hasn't he? Sorry. Or somebody's been
Right.
arsening around him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, is
Anyway,
he still the Prime Minister? That oath.
allegedly, yeah, there is a rumour
Right.
that he is the Prime Minister. Oh, sorry,
Uh,
Minister.
do you know what? I get all my news from these podcasts because I literally never watch the TV. I
Nor do
never
I.
listen to the news.
No.
And I really should make a little bit more effort because it's good to know how much the country's getting destroyed, and I'm pretty much turning a blind eye to just how bad politicians are. So, at least I'm being kept abreast of, how World War III is going on this channel.
Oh yes, yes. That's well. I built my television out in was it 2010? So I haven't seen television for 15 years, and I was adjusting my neighbour's aerial, doing something to her for her, and she had a television on there. It's shit that's on the television. There's loads of channels, but there's nothing worth watching. It's just shit. But anyway, back into chat. Paul has said this begs the question that we're talking about blackouts. If they go down the path of blackouts, that will screw people's electric cars over. That's what they want.
Hey!
Yes. Yeah. And I bloody hate them, Oh, isn't this... Now we got here, hang on, we got here... they are not saving the planet, they are setting up the plantation occupants to fight amongst each other so they can sit back and think of more ideas to keep us separate. Spot on. And
well put.
Sue Sparkle says, I live in Blackpool, Steve. You and Eric are welcome anytime.
Hey!
Hello. Hello.
We'll have to try
That's
the chips
kind.
in Blackpool. Thanks, Sue.
Yes, that's right. Paul said, can we have an additional raspberry for Tony Blair?
He's my favourite warmonger, is Tony Blair.
Yes. Tony,
Yeah.
He always speaks like this, doesn't he? As if he's so, so squeaky clean. He's sort of, I don't use toilet paper because I'm so squeaky clean. My shit comes out perfectly clean. It's sort of, ugh. Now we got here. Original Skepfolk says pumping the Tilly lamp as we speak. 8 hours on one tank of paraffin.
Awesome.
Tilly, yes. Now, Go Joe Gizmo says, back in the 70s, I had a goblin teens made in the bedroom. Yeah, what happened to them? But now she just snores and farts.
Oh, she's not watching.
Now, Sue Sparkle says, we have a Jenny, 2 camping stoves, candles, best to be prepared. Plus other stuff. That's the Scout slogan, wasn't it? Be prepared. And
exactly.
Now,
that's the attitude.
Yes, that's right. But the other one is, I guess I keep on about this. People say, "Oh bloody hell, he's not on about that again." 2 tin cans out of 2 Coke cans or whatever cans you can find. You put the 2 together. I did do it live one day on air, and Chris the gardener was on the show, and he's going, he thought I was going to sever an artery because I had the old Stanley knife going. I was making a stove, but you can make a penny stove out of 2 tin cans. And if you look on YouTube, it shows you how to do it.
Yeah,
really
it's loads.
Super easy. Yeah,
loads of top tips on YouTube for some of the
Yes.
little survival tricks and tips.
But do you understand, Steve, between you and I, glamping? I don't. Do you understand glamping? Why would you want to go and be in luxury? I mean, you go into the wilds to get back to nature, not still be in the 20th century with power cables going out the tents.
Hey, if it gets, do you know what? If it gets some people out of the living rooms and into nature to some degree, fair play. I mean,
I know, you cut off again. Oh, here it comes. What's happened? I think, Steve, I think your internet's gone down or something's gone. You sort of...
It was a station. Am I still on us?
It just cut out. I was just taking a piss for about 30 seconds. You just cut out, So,
oh, really? I wouldn't care. I just I just mentioned a terrific joke and everyone missed it.
Oh, bloody hell. And it
I,
was worse than the intro one as well.
I don't know what I finished off on, but I was saying I used to go glamping with the army, but we went glamping with guns.
Yes, yes. And but did you have to when you were camping, when you're in your tents or bivouacs and that, did you have to padlock your guns next to you in case someone crept into your tent and nicked it or something, or did you just to sleep on them or something? How's it must have
No,
been.
we never left them unattended, ever.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, it's something that you just instinctively, if you didn't have it in your hand, it's almost like you've dropped your favorite teddy or something like that.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
I know what you mean. But the thing that gets me is that I would have thought, I mean, it's a bit like your bike. You get used to your push bike. There's something about, and every push, even if it's made on a production line, every push bike is different. You just sort of get the feel for it. Like your car. I'd know if someone else has driven my car because, I don't know, you just get a feel for things. With your rifle, was it the same if you borrowed somebody else's, or was that a golden thing you'd never borrow somebody else's? But if you had to handle another one, it would be slightly different. Would
yeah,
you find
yeah.
that?
Oh
Is
yeah,
it
you
sort
would.
of,
You'd notice little daft little things.
yeah, yeah,
Whether just daft things like the safety catch is stiffer or there's a wobble on the handle or something like that. There's you
yeah.
could usually tell which one was yours without just by the feel of it, I guess.
It's interesting. But have you ever fired a Kalashnikov? I must ask you that one. The famous AK-47 Kalashnikov. Have
Yeah,
you
I
ever fired?
fired them.
Is it
Yeah.
really? Is it as good as they make out it is, or is it just very basic? That's what I've heard.
I mean, they do the job that they're required to do, I guess. They're very loud and they've got a bit of a kick to them. You
Yeah.
fired one.
Oh bloody hell!
Um,
Yeah, I should think so. But yeah, because I suppose the
it
rifles
wouldn't
now
be.
got quieter.
I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice if I
Mm.
had a choice of which which weapon do you want. I wouldn't go for a Kalashnikov personally. I mean, and there's that many different varieties of them,
Yeah.
but they do the job and they're very robust.
Hmm. Yeah. But well, I think they're cheap to produce. That's the thing. They got that was it billions of them
Yeah,
have been made.
yeah.
They've flooded the market with it. But now we got here. Aunt Sally says, if your eyes become accustomed to the dark, it is much easier to manage. I often walk my dogs in the woods in the dark in winter, and I don't use a torch. The dogs have little lights on their collars.
Brilliant.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Um,
I still like to go out in the woods at night just for a walk. I mean, I go for walks at night. I find it quite, I don't know, it's quiet, put it that way, and a bit
hmm,
of ambient light from the stars. I've always liked getting out in nature, so the dark doesn't put me off at all. So
yeah.
again, if people want to improve or increase their sense of adventure, go on your local park or a little forest walk, but do that at
Hmm.
night for a change. Try it.
Well, I should have thought that a full moon night would have been a lot easier because the full moon is pretty
Mm,
bright, and especially this time of the year because it doesn't get dark until about it's about 8:30. What's time dark?
yeah.
Yeah, it's darkish outside here now. Um, now, Marlene says, I think a trip to go outdoors for camping stove. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one at Harlow. I think there's a go outdoors there. I think it's went outdoors. Um, Aunt Sully, this is Hachi Hachi. My dog's got a flashing LED one collar.
Mm.
Hmm, that's interesting.
I'm not a dog
Now,
owner, but they must be quite handy, I guess, for people walking the dogs at night. I've seen them a few times.
hmm, yes, I actually find that dog leads are a cyclist's hazards because when you're going down a cycle path, I'm sick of these people with bloody extended leads going
Mm.
across the path. almost decapitated the bleeding dog the other day. I was cycling along, weird. There's this leash going right across the path. Just I had to do an emergency stop, which on my bike is because it's got rim brakes, not disc brakes. It takes quite a time to stop, I can tell you. Yes. Have you got discs or rims?
No, I've got 3 bikes and they've all got rim brakes.
Yes.
I mean,
But they reckon they're better.
Hey, I mean, I couldn't really say, but I mean, it still works. I was out on I've got a bike which is about 30 years old, and I was out on that the other day for a weekend. I've actually done a weekend cycle camping, so I cycled about 90 miles over the weekend, all off. I was going to say all off road, not off road on rugged terrain, but off road on like cycle paths and old train lines and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's pleasant. That is. But do you use what do you call it? Where you put your feet in they clips where you clip it to the pedals? Because I don't like having my feet sort of held down. It's a funny feeling when you first use them. So, you think, is my foot going to come up? Am I going to go? Am I going to make a fool of myself? Going, off the bike, you know.
I've done that before.
Yes, but now it says here. Paul says, keep a stock of tinned fish, nuts, etc. I noticed that there seem to be less tinned fish in supermarkets. Yes, there is. But the only trouble with walking at night, Steve, is that if one foot goes silent, and you feel as if one foot is slightly higher than the other.
Yeah.
I tell you what I did do once. This wasn't at night. I accidentally trod in some fox crab, and then I got in my car, and I had to fumigate my car the next day. The stench.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now Jojo Gizmo says I make heaters out of tin cans and burn bioethanol in them. That's why I use bioethanol. Yes, and well, it's a bit like I often show this. When I went on one of these courses, courses. Well, these not courses. What do they call it? Foraging walks. And they said, "Could you please bring your stoves?" You see, so I had my homemade because I wasn't going to bring the bleeding great primus, and I've also got a camping stove which is a bit too big. So people are taking all their flash stoves, and there's me got these piddly little tin can things. And it's a windy day, and they couldn't get theirs started. And people coming up to me saying, "Can you bob them over for me, please?" And this scene is when someone, you see their hey, look, they've got a bleeding tea bag there, right? Look, I'm boiling with water there. But I learned a lot on that day. It's very interesting. And you notice I'm just stinging my arse on the stinging nettles there. You see, as I'm you see, yes.
Hey, you can get those nettles in your foraging bag.
Yes.
If anyone's interested, I'm doing foraging amongst other survival skills actually this weekend. If anyone's
okay, here we go. Here we go. Yes, it's time to show off time. And,
it's time for the plug. Shameless plug inbound.
Right. I've got to turn this one off here. What is it? Glamping is for snobs who don't want to rough it. Mark Anthony, spot on. Yes. People that raise the little finger when they're having a cup of tea. You know the type. And the type that get out of the bath to do a wee, that's posh. I'm really joking. That's an old joke, that one is. Now, where's my banners? Now we got here. Here it is. We got 30th wellness. Hi.
Yeah.
And if you want to know anything further about this, you see, notice how posh I'm becoming now. So that is Thursday till Sunday, and you can go onto the Telegram group, and this is Survive the Apocalypse with Survival Steve. That's Telegram, and of course that's it. And this is the address underneath. So we'll leave that on for a few moments. See?
Shameless plug. Shameless
Yes.
plug.
Excellent. So remember, if you're I wonder if I can get 3 of these on. No, you can't. That's miserable. Sods. Can't do that. So there we are. So it's survival and wellness, 30th to the 1st of June, this year, of course.
Yeah.
And there's his. I'm actually on this group as well, and I never write anything rude on there, do I? I'm always polite.
Yeah, yeah, you write some
Yeah.
funny things. I must admit, some of the things make me laugh. So.
And that's right. So get on to that. So best thing to do is freeze frame it. So it's TE+4 and all that sort of stuff. But if you freeze frame it, you should be able to write it down, you see. But you soon find it. Survive the Apocalypse with Survival Steve Telegram. We'll leave that there. And there's another one you wanted to promote as well, wasn't there? Is that Coed or something?
Karu Coed is the. I mean, if anyone goes on Facebook or the internet and looks for Karu Coed, follow that link. That takes you direct to the site where the person running the event. A guy called Tom, a lovely guy, and it's in Coed in North Wales. And if doing a full weekend's a bit too much for people, especially with it being quite short notice, but you're willing to go there, you can go there for the day or 2 days or whatever, you know, if that suits you best.
Well, the fact is, sorry, I was just looking outside. It's wee-weeing with rain, I think. But the thing is that whilst you're driving all that way, I mean, basically Coed is bloody hell, it's the other side of the universe from where I am. But it's quite a couple of 100 miles. Whilst you could spend all that petrol, you might as well make you know make a good of it. And this is the email, Gmail. See, so you can actually contact the person. Now,
it's a stunning location, by the way. It's deep in a forest. You drive up it's about 2 miles into a forest track. You probably think it's you're going to the back and beyond. It's 2 miles up a forest track, and it's such a fantastic view over the mountains, over Snowdonia, and obviously within a forest. So you've got all that forest environment, and you're well away from civilization, so to speak. So
wow.
soak up the atmosphere, soak up the wilderness, and learn some skills. And there's a few other bolt-ons as well for anybody who's interested.
Do you find that you might find people coming along and they'll be a bit wound up from driving? There might have been traffic hold-ups or diversions and that, and then you see them just calming down and just really calming down.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, especially the weekend that Tom runs, because it's not just survival activities; it's also wellness events. So that's things like sound baths and forest bathing. And again, just being in such a quiet and serene wilderness setting is enough to get most people relaxed and in a better place, away from everything.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Now the thing is, Wales, lovely place if it only had a roof on it. You see, because it's always wee-weeing with rain, or What is the best attire or things to wear? I mean, my first port of call would always be the army surplus places on eBay. But the thing is that boots and things like that. I mean, what about the best boots? I mean, I got mine off of eBay, but just all good. I mean, you got to have good footwear, I'd have thought. But what would your advice be for boots?
Again,
Oh, sorry.
It's a tough one.
Sorry, your sound's gone down a bit. So can you repeat that?
Army boots.
No.
Get some army boots off eBay.
And
Yeah.
What about those
Yeah.
ones
Again,
made in Yorkshire?
sorry for the delays with the.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had several pairs of them. Altbergs.
Altbergs. Yeah,
Altberg
I got
make brilliant
Altbergs.
boots. Yeah, I've had a few.
Altbergs are very, very good. And the
Yeah.
other one I like is the German paratrooper boots. They're very good as well.
Mm.
You know,
Oh, yeah, I
but you got
like
to
them.
play
Yeah.
German brass band music when you're around them. They work better, you know. But they take a bit of wearing in. Very thick leather. Um,
Yeah.
and the other one is if you've got a backpack, is am I right? Is you don't try and waterproof the backpack. You waterproof the goods inside, so the
Mm.
backpack can get
Oh,
soaking wet.
always.
But the goods,
Yeah.
yeah,
Always have a
because
liner bag in your rucksack, even if it's just a bin bag. But always have something to stop the weather. Yeah.
well, that's the thing, and I think also, hang on, I'll just put this back. That's what I'm playing with. This, oh, we're having fun. Now, the other thing is sleeping bags. Do people have to take sleeping bags to this survival, the apocalypse, or do they sort of take their bed to bits, put it all in the back of their car, and then dismantle it, and put it all together again, like uh, what do they call it? That Swedish IKEA. So, what sleeping
Hey,
bags do you would advise? With the mummy sleeping bags, or ex-army, or what do you think it would be about the best?
yeah, I missed some of that because it went blank again.
Yeah,
But I thoroughly
uh,
recommend a sleeping bag. Um, it can get, even in summer, it can get cold on a night time. So definitely don't
mm,
skimp on on something that's going to keep you warm and comfortable during the night. One saying I say in survival is any fool can be uncomfortable. So,
yeah,
and do you know what? From all my years in the army, I'll be quite honest. At times, I used to carry in fact, most of the time, I used to carry what's known as a jungle bag, a jungle sleeping bag, which is designed
yeah.
for jungle temperatures, warm weather. I carried one of them in winter, slept in that in winter, in minus conditions. I was always cold. I was always kind of cold and uncomfortable, but a lot of army operations, if you get 2 hours sleep a night, you're doing all right. So it didn't really matter so much. But
Mm.
for survival situations, for anybody else, I would definitely recommend getting the biggest and warmest sleeping bag you can.
And a synthetic or or was it duck down, or what they call it? Because you can get duck
Um,
down ones or
yeah,
synthetic ones. Uh, I don't like synthetic.
synthetic. Yeah, right. Okay,
But sorry,
it's
you're going to say,
cheaper. Yeah, I was
mm,
going to say synthetic's cheaper, and if you do get, your sleeping bag wet, synthetic's a lot easier to dry
oh
out, and
yeah,
also it
yes,
still keeps a little bit of insulation qualities, whereas down will, once it's wet, it's pretty much useless.
good point, excellent point. That's a very,
Mm.
very good point that people wouldn't normally think of. There's two types of sleeping bags: there's the mummy ones and just the sort of standard ones. Uh, I suppose all army ones are mummy ones, aren't they? I think, aren't they? They go over your head and that.
Um,
Um,
the ones I'm familiar with used to have a big, chunky zip down the middle of them, so
mm,
you can bomb burst out of your sleeping bag quickly and spring into action. But
that's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're on a budget or you think of prepping or getting some equipment for camping, I'll be quite honest. Some of the army surplus stuff that's available is robust,
mm.
practical, does the job well, probably lasts you for years, and it's reasonably inexpensive. So something to consider.
And with this survival weekend, would you bring your own tent with you, or tents survive, provided, or
Yeah.
because my attitude would be to take although it's in your car, so I could could put a lot more in. But most people, well, I think everybody goes by car there. Um, I've got a Dutch Army uh, what do you call it? We put over your
Tent?
head.
Oh,
No, it's
poncho.
poncho, and you can use it as a tent.
Yeah,
It's got
I
all.
know the ones you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Trouble is, a bit of sodding about, and you've got to find a suitable tree to sort of tie everything up and put everything, you know.
yeah.
But but you can get these really small tents, can't you? That are supposed to be really quite warm. But there's one bloke on YouTube. He put a tent within a tent. So he'd
Mm.
have one tent, and he said he always does that.
Oh
So he said
well.
he could be, but gale force winds outside, you wouldn't even know because you're within another tent. And he reckons it's
Mm.
nice and warm. So you know,
Oh well,
but
that's
yeah.
there's a number of options at Carrickcoid if anyone wants to live in a survival shelter that they've made themselves. There's that opportunity. If they want to
Mm.
have a hammock or sleep under a poncho or a basher, they're more than welcome. Or a tent, or for anybody who doesn't want to that level of hardship, well, there's a fairly um, dry and robust cottage there with a bunkhouse accommodation. So
Mm.
then there's beds there. You just need to bring
It's
a
good.
duvet or sleeping bag.
Mm. And remember the lavatory, what is it, 20 paces in any direction, isn't it?
First tray on the left.
Yes. But,
No, there's actually flushing toilets there. There's running water. It's basic, but it's doable,
yeah,
and it'll if you'll certainly find a level of comfort there if roughing it out in the
yeah.
woods at night is not your thing. But it's wholesome food cooked over an open
Oh,
fire, great company, and everyone who's ever been there has always had a great time. You know,
oh, great. And the other thing is that you don't know if you ever heard that apparently the River Cam used to be an open sewer. They used to pump all the poo into the River Cam.
mm.
And I don't know how true this is. It's probably been distorted along the right way, but apparently Queen Victoria visited Cambridge and saw this toilet bits of toilet papers floating down the river.
Mm.
And she said to the chap she was with, I think he was the dean of one of the colleges, "Sir, what are those pieces of paper on the river? On the floating down the river?" And he said, "They, madam, are notices telling people not to swim." What a fantastic answer, isn't it? That is an absolute brilliant answer on the spur of the moment. Apparently, it happened about the 1890s or something like that. But, now, shall we go over to the news that I said we was going to have
Yeah,
early in the program? Right. So we've got. I've just looked over there. Here he is, and he sent this on the 8th of May, so it's up to date. You see, this is David, David Nightingale. So thanks, David. And we got here. He sent me a belated birthday thing, and he said, "What was it now?" We got some news here. He says Emperor Eric's eating education. He was talking about, and he said it is. He reckons that when I was talking about the diet that I'm on, well, it's not a diet, it's a change of lifestyle, the keto diet. It is very comparable to the granny diet. Granny, who lived to nearly 102, ate all the things they say are bad for us. We have good news. As part of the function of the consulate, this is here in Fockham, you see, to interface with the locals, there is a growing aversion to television. Here at the consulate, we have 4 decades without television and radio. Excellent, excellent. That's what I like to hear, which is a good thing as it allows us to keep up with all of Eric's memos. Now, he said, what is it now? A fictional survey has found that most people operate on the SHN, is a superhuman bypass known as a giggleometry. It is a very simple procedure. The pre-op includes putting people into a trance-like state, easily achieved with one of our dear leaders' speeches. Spot on there, mate. So there we go. There's a little bit of news here. So have you got any news? And he is actually the David of the Fockham Dorset Consulate. So that's marvellous. So we got a consulate in Dorset. So we're countrywide now, aren't we? Dorset, Newcastle,
Yeah.
Tyneside, Bognor, Southend.
Yeah. Dorset's a lovely part of the world. So,
oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is.
Get yourself there on holiday, folks. Yeah. Definitely.
Yes. By the way, is the Festiniog Railway, that's near Bexley Coed, isn't it? Have you still got Festiniog Railway there?
It rings a bell.
Yeah. It's an old steam engine. Goes,
yeah. In fact, I think to get to the survival location, I think we it's either cross over the train line or we're very close to it.
Really?
So, yeah.
No,
although you can't hear it from the cottage.
I wouldn't have thought so, no. But I should think it's a very quaint cottage where it is. And is it very easy to find? You know, is it in the middle of nowhere, basically?
Yeah, I mean, we lay out markers on the trail to find, but you basically go up a forest trail for about 2 miles, and
wow.
It is deep in a forest. So I mean, like I say, the forest is fantastic. Some really ancient trees, well developed, some excellent scenery there. So
you really do need to, I actually think there's a book in you, Steve, and because you did quite a lot, wrote quite a bit excellently on plug on Nathan's books. You wrote a lot in here, Fake Awake, and I actually think some sort of survival guide, a new one, a different type of one, would be a kind of idea. You know,
maybe a survive the apocalypse style.
Survive the apocalypse, yes. Now, Aunt Sally says, I guess I'm rather posh then. I always get out the bath and do a wee. Not the swimming pool, though. If that. I wasn't being serious on that one. I do get out the bath. Well, actually, no, I haven't had a bath for years. No, I have a shower, actually. Oh, you're normally in the bath, aren't you, when we're when we're speaking? So, yes. Because
what's going on?
Yes, it's like swimming pool. The P is silent, as in swimming pool. Yes. Now it says here, they will turn the energy against us like they have with Hillsborough and Heysel. This is Stephen Truthseeker. And now this is interesting. They had snipers on the roofs today in Liverpool. Seen the video of it on TikTok.
Right. Was that after there was some car incident in Liverpool? Was that today?
Don't know.
There was a car ran amok in the crowds. I think that was in Liverpool. I've just heard recently. I don't know if that was today.
It's interesting. Now, somebody's put here, Stephen Truthseeker says, looks like my football club, LFC, has been targeted again. Survival Steve. Fans have been mowed down at the victory parade. It looks like a mind-controlled operation or a remote-controlled vehicle. What the hell's happened there then? Has there been some sort of... I don't know anything about this. Do you know anything about it?
I mean, I've literally just heard just before this podcast went on that there was something car driving into crowds. Again, I didn't even know where it was or when it was, but that must be Liverpool then.
And we was talking about brakes on our bikes, and very good. This is Hatchy. Keir Starmer could do with some rim brakes.
Sure.
Now, are they treating brains faggots? Sorry, I think serving brains faggots at number 10 as a delicacy. That's a good point. That brains faggots. That's the name of the firm is called Brains, and they're called Brains faggots.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah,
yeah. You still get them actually in Iceland, not the country, the
yeah,
supermarket. Yeah, brains
yeah.
faggots, and
I,
yeah, that's now this is interesting. Paul Stephen Truth at day 219 of the year, is it? Psyop equals 219 took place on Water Street, which is 154 ritual sacrifice.
oh, it's interesting stuff, Paul.
Yes. Well, all I hope that no innocent people have been hurt, and it's a false flag. You know. Hang on a minute. Was she's talking about? Uh, she's Aunt Sally says she's posh because she gets out the bar to do a wee, and it's called turd immunity dance. And Mark Anthony says I have a pair of Altberg Defenders. So have I. Great
Mm,
boots. And there's a
yeah.
place if you go onto eBay, there's a place in Bromley which sells them. They're almost new. They're virtually new, and it
Mm,
might be I don't know, been in storage in the Ministry of Defence or something. I don't know, but they are
perhaps.
new. But they are great boots. Now, morning, Stig, in New Zealand.
Hey,
Hello. Have you ever been to New Zealand, Steve? Sounds an interesting place. You know,
no, I've not
excellent.
been.
Yes,
No. Although, if you want me to represent Fockham Hall, I'll gladly accept some first class tickets. Cheers.
yes, that's right. The only trouble is you would have to learn how to use a mop or something like that because you could go on a sort of a what is it a car? What do you call it? A freight ferry, you know.
If
But
it helps, I mean, if it helps, I already speak the language.
yes, or the Maori
Hey,
there,
mate.
the haka. The only difference in Fockham is we spell it with an F instead of an H, you see. But apart from that, you know, but did you see that protest in New Zealand on YouTube? Oh, it's a classic. It was one of these, rainbow things and all these blokes dressed up as women and purple hair and all that. And there's a load of youths that are against it. See, and
Mm.
they were family people, and they did a haka. And they go, ooh, like this. And the police, it put the shits up the police. And the police are standing between these fellas dressed in frocks. And then there's the police, and then there's a group of blokes doing the haka. And it was, I wish I could find it again. It's on YouTube. It's just the atmosphere, you know.
I don't think I've seen that. I mean, I think I was probably put off watching Jacinda Ardern during the
Oh, bloody hell.
health emergency. Yeah, actually, do you know? Do you
She's,
know before? Do you know prior to that there was a terror incident in New Zealand? I'm pretty sure. I might be mistaken, so please don't take this as granted.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure that the gun ban that resulted in New Zealand was announced on the 22nd of March. One of those
Interesting.
very important dates again.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But and yeah, there definitely has been something happening there. What was this? We definitely know these things don't take place by accident. Um, I'm trying to work out if events now link to Pope Leo, now that Francis has gone, although Leo is Robert Francis Prevost. Hmm. And Paul, there's a strange symbolism. This is Stephen Truthseeker on the
Mm.
buildings in that area of Liverpool. Dear, and it's a direct attack on the club and fans. Well, I just hope no one's died. That's all. Nobody innocent has died or injured or anything. But now Stephen Truthseeker said, "I've been homeless, so I know all about survival." Did,
Yeah.
did, did you find though, Steve, that you had your training in the army, but when it's actually you go into the field, it's totally different. And you got your basic training, but you just learn little knacks. Everybody learns little knacks as they go along. Did you find that at all? or was the training so good that you really,
Essentially, a lot of the training we done in the army was as real to real life as you can make it. A lot of things, especially if it's dangerous activities, used to be built up progressively, and no matter how many times you've done, let's say, some sort of range practice before involving live ammunition, we'd still start off, after a period of time, would still redo that training with using blank ammunition, then building things up progressively. So again, we used to do realistic training, but it was all progressive, and again, I obviously slaughter the notion of the military nowadays. I can't knock the training that we've done. I can't.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, that sounds.
These
yeah,
organisations are unnecessary and should be banned. Should be defunded completely.
But it's put you in good stead because if a survival situation happened, you would survive. You know how to survive. Which is.
I've certainly got the knowledge and skills and understanding. Yeah. You can't guarantee what fate's got in store for you though. So,
what's your feelings about Ray Mears? He's quite interesting. He's done quite a bit on the internet and that. I find him very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But
I've never met him, but his survival shows on the TV were excellent, and the guy's a fountain of knowledge.
Well, did I tell you I did try a thistle the other day, and I spat it out. It was bleeding horrible.
Yeah, you were saying it wasn't that tasty. Yeah. So the other day I had.
The sound's going a bit funny again.
So the other day, the screen went blank again there, so I was sorry about that. Yeah. But the other day I had something called goosegrass and nettles blended into a soup, and I must admit it was delicious.
Really?
So goosegrass is edible. Yeah. Again, I would encourage anybody listening in, don't just take my word for things. I can't guarantee that somebody might not be allergic to some of these forage materials, but goosegrass is also known as sticky willies. It's the
cleavers.
Is that cleavers? Yeah. Cleavers. It grows in abundance in hedgerows all over the UK. It's the stuff that sticks to your clothing. Nettles.
That's right. So you just get that, and my attitude is they say wash it, but if you're putting it in boiling water, that washes it anyway. So I don't, and also cut it the nettles, take it from dog cocking level, and you saves on salt, so you don't have to carry salt with you. No, I'm joking. I am joking, very joking. But no, seriously though, I'm going to go around picking some nettles. And that sounds delicious. Cleavers cleavers on its own is not all that. Because did you find you kept having the runs afterwards? Because cleavers is a diuretic, isn't it? It clears your liver out.
I've not had the runs with cleavers before, but eat things sparingly, especially if you're not accustomed to the to wild edibles. Don't go and eat tons of it. Kind of build up this. Yeah,
cleavers. I've got cleavers in my garden. I've got cleavers, and nettles are just around the corner from where I live, so I can pick them.
So I went on a cycle trip this weekend. This weekend just gone. I cycled about 90 miles, and I can guarantee. I took food with me, but I can guarantee if I didn't have any food with me whatsoever, there was enough wild edibles on the hedgerows that I cycled past to sustain me. Easily. Another thing I noticed was in abundance was something called garlic mustard, and again, if you're not familiar with the plant, go and have a look what they look like. See if you can identify them. Garlic mustard's delicious. It's also known as Jack by the Hedge. That's a nice, a tasty wild edible. It's got like a mustardy cabbage flavour.
Oh, very nice.
Very tasty.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah, loads of that growing.
But the thistle that I had, do you think I had it too young, too old, or was it just bloody horrible? I don't know. I spat it out.
I couldn't.
Chewy. It was a bit sort of, a bit.
Cucumber type taste to them.
Yes, that's interesting. But I'm going to try that. I'm definitely going to try that because the good thing about stinging nettles is you can cook it like cabbage, and it's got what's it? Fantastic amount of nutrients in it. It's brilliant. Stinging nettles.
Do you know? Yeah. You should get. There's the lady called Holly who sometimes
she
listens.
Comes on. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a fountain of knowledge when it comes to wild edibles. She knows everything about herbs and the healing properties of some of these plants. I mean, I've got a little bit of knowledge, but she's like an expert. It'd be worth having her on the show one day, Eric.
I'd like to get her on. I'm not sure she will because her friend Kathy comes on and she backs Kathy up because Kathy is actually in Wales, but she's originally from Birmingham. Because I thought that's a strange Welsh accent, isn't it? She speaks from Birmingham, but Hereditous Get Fucked says freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. I agree with you there, mate.
Great point.
I absolutely agree with you. And I've left quite a few of these crumbs. We've got a lot in chat tonight. Now, was it? I've lost myself now. Where are we? The other thing is when you're. Oh yeah, was it? That's it. I'm not sure I read this one out. My late mum had a stove that she put meths in. That's right. Yes. Yes. That's interesting. You can get
I know the type she means. Yeah, methylated spirits in. I think they were called Trangia stoves. They were quite popular at one time.
That's right. And was it Baby with a Laser? Hi all. Hello, Baby with a Laser.
Hello.
And then we got Sue Sparkle says gas containers for a stove can be bought at B&Q, Halfords and Argos. Yes. But you get them from there. But once upon a time, you used to have these hardware stores. And they'd be everywhere. You know, I think they sold them at petrol stations as well. I think they had loads of them there. You know, you just But all they seem to sell now is the charcoal for barbecues. You know, it's surprising how things have changed. Now, Ricardo Alejandro Blake says B&M gas refills 4 for £8. Now that's interesting. Thanks. B&M, because B&M's very good stores. 4 for that's not bad at all. Now this is another one. Mark Anthony. It's also good to have adequate water stored away in case of a grid down scenario. Now, this is where I might be going wrong. I don't store water. I've got 0 water filters, and I'm making a copy of a what do they call them now? The American ones. Can't think of their name.
Berkey's.
Berkey, thanks, mate.
Yeah,
Berkey's. I'm making my own out of a flower pot. My view is I've got they're minging, but I've got quite a lot of water tubs in my garden. So I'd actually use the rainwater, put it through the Berkey first of all, and then put it through the 0 water filter. Because the reason I don't have bottled water hanging around is because I don't like the idea of that plastic leaching into your water. Because did you know the expiry date is nothing to do with the water, it's to do with the amount of, so I've heard, the plastic that's leaching into your water. Now people say a 0 water filter's got plastic. Yes, it has. But it's not really there that long. I'd like to get a glass jar filter, but unfortunately, you know, very difficult. I don't think
it's all a trade-off, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
it is. So yeah. I mean, what's your feelings towards water? I mean, as I say, I don't. I don't go. I don't buy bottled water.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we all know that you can't live long without water. So, for example, and again, it depends on how far you want to take your sort of stance on prepping. But for example, I know where my nearest fresh water supply is, and when I say fresh water supply, I mean um, a reservoir. So, but for some people, that might mean where is your nearest freshwater river or lake? Um, can you, and is it feasible to be able to obtain water from there should you need it? Other people might have a big garden or an allotment where they're able to have water butts, for example. And again, I would definitely recommend that, even if it's just for washing things, washing
Mm.
yourself, flushing toilets. If water does get switched off, you might still be able to flush toilets with buckets of rainwater collected in water butts, or you might just be able to use it to water the plants in your garden to keep them alive, especially if you're growing crops, for example. So have as many different sources as possible. I live by the sea, but obviously you can't drink seawater, and to produce it to turn it into drinkable water takes an awful lot of time and effort, an awful lot of
Mm.
fuel. But definitely check out to see where you live. Yeah,
You gone off again? Yeah.
and
You cut out a bit there. Can you repeat that, mate? Because you went out. You went out for a couple of seconds. You said something. Always check where you, and that's it. That's all I got.
okay. I was just saying that always have, or it's definitely worthwhile having an understanding where you can obtain water
Mm.
from if your tap water supply doesn't work. I'd imagine a
That's a
lot of
real problem.
people are keeping glass bottles or plastic containers in their shed, or in the
Mm.
loft or whatever for such emergencies. But yeah,
The other
um,
thing, where I live, though, is Vail's disease, which is from rat's pee.
mm,
It's supposed to be very bad. Now, I don't live too far from the River Lee, which goes right the way up to Bishop Stortford. It goes through Hertfordshire. So
mhm.
there's a lots of water around here, but I certainly wouldn't drink the water from the River Lee. I think it'd
Okay,
kill you. Because again, the Vail's disease. And there's also lots of springs and that round here, but no real outlets for it. Um, that's why I've gone down the line of filtering rainwater. That's
hmm
the way I've looked at it, Um, but the trouble is, when you're going to have a power outage or shortage, it'll probably be midwinter when it's frozen, or midsummer when there's a shortage of water. So you can't really
yeah,
win.
yeah.
That's the trouble. Um, Now, Sue Sparkle has said, Hatchy Hatchy has said, rapeseed oil is supposed to be for engines. Yeah, you're right. It was
Mm.
originally, it's like, did you know mouthwash um, was originally to clean floors and they couldn't find it, didn't sell very well. So this is
Wow.
serious. And the company, beginning with L, which I won't mention, um, their salespeople decided to invent a disease that doesn't exist, and that is halitosis. It doesn't exist. It's not in any medical journals. It's bad breath, and they sold it as mouthwash, and they
Mm.
made money out of it. That is 100% true story. You can look it up. So halitosis does not exist. So if a
Yeah.
person says you've got halitosis, it's just a name they made up. You know.
Mm.
Um, Now we've got a rather rude one here. We got, was it? Sue Sparkle says, "I have one, Eric. Do you really? It's a small one. Well, we do have our problems, but we don't. We don't talk much about it. My hubby has one like yours, does he? Oh, Swiss Army knife. Oh dear, I just wonder what it's talking about. No, actually, if you go online, there's a place called the Swiss Store. You get these, and they're bloody good. Swiss
Mm.
Store, and they
So
do.
I've got a Swiss Army knife that I definitely recommend them. So yeah.
There's also the German Army knife, isn't there? which is I think I'm not sure if it's made by Victorinox, but was you issued knives in the army? I mean, is there a British army knife? Because there's a Swiss army knife, a German army knife. I'm not sure about the Americans. Do they have an American army knife? I mean, do the British have? They must have an army knife.
Oh yeah. We were issued knives. I used to have one of my favourite ones was a Leatherman, similar to the
Oh
pliers
yeah,
that you had.
Leatherman.
Yeah,
Yes.
Leathermans. You know, and there's lots of different makes. But
American, I
something like
think.
that's handy. It's worth
Hmm.
noting that for anyone in the UK, because the police are a bunch of things I can't
That's right.
repeat. There is laws in the UK which permit certain blade lengths, and I think
That's it.
it's something
4 inches.
is it 4 inches?
Yeah, 4 inches. Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's worth looking up because if the police do a stop and search for, for whatever BS that they've stopped you for,
Mm.
and they catch you with a knife, and I mean, I carry a knife 24 hours a day, even in my underpants when I'm on the beach or swimming. I've got an underwater knife for underwater knife fighting. I had to go on a course for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I always carry a knife, but obviously in the UK you've got to carry one below a certain
That's right.
length, and
That's the
it's
sort of
also
length. Yeah.
yeah. And one other thing, it's got to be a non-locking variety. So if your blade locks in place, i.e., it needs a mechanism to unlock it, that would be unlawful in the UK. So you don't want the knife police spoiling your fun.
And you got to have a good reason. Another thing is that police officer, if it's his kid's birthday coming up soon and he wants to a nice, he can confiscate it for you. I mean, they reckon that the best place to work really used to be, and I think it still is the customs, because they confiscate things from people. And yeah, Bert, you want one of these? Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. But no, you got to have a good reason for having a knife on you. Well, to me, this is not a knife as such. It's a toolkit. And you can use
Yeah,
this for
exactly.
cutting fruit and things like that. But again, if you're going to buy a knife, it's best to make sure that's strong. And Victorinox is strong, because you don't want things. And the cheap Hong Kong, or not Hong Kong, but the Chinese knockoffs, they may be cheap and they look like the Victorinox, but your health is at risk. It's a health and safety type of thing. But no, they're in the Huntsman's the most common one. This is the most common Swiss Army knife there is.
Has that one got a has that got a little wood saw blade on it, so you can cut down saplings and what have you?
No, it
I know
hasn't.
there's a few different varieties.
It's got scissors.
Yeah.
It's got scissors.
Excellent.
Like this. Let's have a look.
Magnifying glass. Some of them have got magnifying glasses on.
No magnifying glass. Miserable
All right.
sods, aren't they? But it's a bleed. That's miserable. But it's got the usual stuff on it. Oh yeah. Get stuff out of horses' hooves. There we are. What have we got here?
We got a corkscrew.
I've got a corkscrew there. There it is.
Yeah.
There's the corkscrew. There we are. Corkscrew. See. And actually, you can use this for carrying things. If you've got a bit of wood or something like that, you can screw this into. There's 1,001 uses, and of course you've got. This is something I never use. The toothpick. Got a toothpick there.
Oh, that's one of my favourite bits.
Really, and really, and to the other one is tweezers. I use these. Yeah, little tiny tweezers and things.
Awesome bit of kit.
And they're quite lightweight. I mean, when you compare this to this, I mean, this is bloody heavy. And of course, on your bike, you've got to be as lightweight as you possibly can be.
Yeah.
And I literally can't take this because it's so sodding heavy, again, unless I'm going on a long journey.
It's like an expedition tool, isn't it? So if you're going to be off the beaten track.
Yeah. I would say it feels like a pound of sugar. It really does. It's a bit weighty. But this is as light as a feather. And of course, you've got the other bits and bobs on there. Here we are. Now you've got other ones there.
Yeah. So Swiss Army knives definitely get a thumbs up from me. And anyone who carries a Swiss Army knife, 2 thumbs up, because it means you've got the right attitude, and you've already thinking ahead, and you're doing a bit of preparation.
And also, I'm a bit of a snob. I always, because you can buy them with all different coloured handles now. I know you have to be red,
Oh well.
but
Mhm.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I always like to have a red one. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
it. But I've got several. But you're spot on, Steve. The one with the old, where you can saw. That's the one that is very, very useful. And
Mm.
I would advise going for that one with the saw. I think I've got one that's got a saw on it, but they are very, very good, those saws.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
uh,
Some sort of folding pocket knife is definitely
hmm,
something every survivor needs.
yeah,
Everyone who's out in nature for whatever reason, whether you're a photographer, you just want taking the dogs for a walk, because there is a saying in survival, and it's a knifeless man is a lifeless man.
a what?
Hello. A
Hello,
knifeless
Patrick.
man is
Hello.
Hello,
hello.
is
Hey.
we got a Dalek? Actually, something weird is going on with the sound. I don't know what is going on. Do you think you reboot or something, Patrick? We can't hear you. Terrible interference. You still there? This is our Wisconsin cheese man. Anyway, um, Viceroy of Cheeseland. That's it. Oh, where's he gone? Oh
I
well,
think the
but
Daleks took him.
I think you're right. The Daleks have taken him. So Swiss Army knife definitely. And again, the Swiss store. I don't get any commission for that in this. I think I should get bleeding commission for it as well.
Exactly.
And you can't buy them on eBay. To think you used to buy penknives at
Yeah.
airports.
Do you know what? I
And
used to like eBay, but it's becoming increasingly.
hello, you've gone off again. Chris,
It's become.
what's happening? You're back there, mate. The sound keeps going a bit tits up all the time.
My sound.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said eBay is becoming a bit, and it went a bit dead.
Yeah. So eBay, it's like New World Order material. So anything that supports the New World Order, that from me, you get a massive thumbs down. So
Righto.
eBay, YouTube, bit of a thumbs down.
Yes, Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, it's Amazon. Yeah, completely broken there. All ties with those
Hey,
clowns.
can you hear me now?
Hey,
He's back.
Hello.
Yeah, it
I'm
sounds as if
back.
he's doing an
I
impersonation of
know.
a Dalek. I go,
I know. I know.
exterminate,
It's my software.
Really?
It's my loopback
So,
software for the microphone. I got it figured out though. Thank you for letting me know
that's
that.
good. That's all
I mean,
right. Well,
it's terrible. I
but
wanted to
anyway.
say, you were talking about knives.
Mhm.
I have a knife for you if you can so you can have a Swiss Army knife. I take it. It's just got to be under 4 inches.
In Britain, 4 inches, and it mustn't be locking. I don't think flick knives are allowed, are they? I'm not sure about that,
no.
Steve. Do you
So,
know
but is
about
a
flick
Swiss
knives?
Army knife
Did you
allowed?
know the
Because
flick knife was just? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
it is. So there is a bit of a locking. It's a folding knife, so it is locking, isn't it? Or am I?
Not
Uh,
not all Swiss Army knives have got a locking blade. So if it's a non-locking blade, then it's okay in the UK.
that's right. Yeah.
Which okay, so folding knife.
This one.
You can't have a
This one
folding
is not
knife, or you can. What's that?
This is a folding
can't-
knife. This here it is. But the blade doesn't lock. Hang on, I've got the
Yeah.
wrong one here. Now the blade here, I can actually open this up, and it clicks in like that. But there's no device to actually lock it solid. So when you're pressing down on it that way, it won't fold up. But obviously, if you press that the wrong way around, then it will fold up. So that is allowed. That is just under 4 inches, and we're only allowed 4 inches of blade in this country. Why I do
Okay.
not know.
Yeah.
Is it? I guess is it the same in the States, or are they?
No, obviously not. No, I got all sorts of knives that we can get, like especially like the German Solingen type knives. You get some real nice. I use them for slaughtering and butchering. And I was gonna say if you can get it, but I don't know if you can because it's a folding knife, but it locks, and you have to press it with your thumb in order to retract it back into the thing.
Don't think that would be allowed. I'm not sure.
Okay,
if you've got a
Steve,
good reason for doing survival things in the woods, and I've got some of these tools, then that's acceptable. It's if you're walking around your high street or shopping centre and you've got
sure. Well, okay, then if that's the case, this knife that I use it for skinning. Usually when I'm skinning an animal, and it's called an outdoor edge, and it's a 3.5 inch razor light EDC, and they have removable razor sharp blades that you can remove, and they're disposable.
Really?
And the thing
outdoor
works wonderful.
Edge.
Outdoor edge.
I'm gonna type that into chat so I can.
Yeah, type that in.
Outdoor edge.
Outdoor edge.
Knife.
A friend of mine who's a butcher told me about these, and they work. They're amazing. I carry one with me wherever I go, practically, just because they're handy to use for cutting. And then it's so it's like a 3.5 inch razor light. Light spelled LITE, and then it's EDC. I don't know what the EDC stands for, but
that means everyday carry.
Okay, that
makes
sense.
They might be legal in this country. They might be
They might be.
They might be legal, yeah, because the blade is under 4 inches.
Yes.
And if it's a non-locking, it should be okay. I mean, you could. You can have Stanley knives and things like that. Obviously,
it's a normal folding knife, but it snaps like here. I'll snap mine. It snaps like that, so it doesn't retract back in while you're handling it. Because if it did, you could cut yourself pretty easily. So it's
because they sell knives here blunt. Did you know? Have you noticed that, Steve? If you buy any bladed instrument now, it's blunt, deliberately for the health and safety. You have to
seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was talking to a bloke on a stall because he was selling some very small knives, little tiny ones, which I bought one, and he said, "I'm sorry, mate." He said they will be blunt. So I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We're not allowed to sell blades, things like that now at the shop, because of health and safety."
The world's gone nuts.
That's
absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So I need to move to Wisconsin.
Yeah, move to Wisconsin. No big deal.
I like it.
Normal.
No MOTs on cars. Oh, that sounds.
You were talking about lighters earlier. There's a lighter I like to use. It's called a peanut lighter, and it's a Zippo type where you can add flints to it, and you just use like regular gasoline, petrol for the wick. And it's got a replaceable wick and like cotton type thing. It has a screw. It has a screw top so that it's waterproof. And then if you need it in a pinch to have an airtight container, you could just take the lighter part of it out and use it as a container for keeping things dry.
Well, I like the sound of that.
It's called a peanut lighter.
Peanut lighter.
And they're small. They're really small. You can fit it in.
Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Well, I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to hop in and say hello to everybody. And I know it's the end of the show, so.
Well, we've got to say goodbye to Soapbox Radio. We're signing off from Soapbox Radio at 10 o'clock, but we're still continuing on YouTube. So it'll be good night to everyone on Soapbox Radio, and I think Radio Windmiller as well. So goodbye, everybody on those radio
folks.
things.
Yeah.
And you can carry on, and we're going to carry on YouTube for a little bit longer. So to say, I think it should be shutting off now. So thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we're going to carry on YouTube for a little while longer, as we normally do. Sorry about that. So please carry on, Steve or Patrick.
Well, I've got it going on Radio Windmiller longer, so anyone on Windmiller, it's going to keep going.
Oh, sorry, it was still on Windmiller. Now, do you want to give a quick plug to Radio Windmiller?
Yeah, radiowindmiller.com. It'll be on for the next, few weeks, and then it's switching over to holylandradio.com. That's my new site.
Radio.
Yeah, Holy Land Radio.
That's interesting. Mind you, people might think it's in Israel. Now, if they say Holy Land.
Well, it's that's the dispute between the Catholics and the other group that claims the Holy Land. I think we need a crusade to take it back the way it's going.
The people we're not allowed to criticise. You're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Precisely.
But yes. Anyway, we was talking about. I mean, I was watching. What was his now? That American ex-major
Smedley Butler.
Not Smedley Butler, the American chappie who's around today. I can't think of his surname. He's got a Scottish surname.
McGregor?
McGregor, yes, right.
Colonel McGregor.
And, he sounds very fair. I kind of like him. I don't know if there's any bad things about him, but I kind of like the fella. And he reckons that if Israel go for Iran will slaughter them.
Yeah.
He said they'll absolutely slaughter them. They won't stand unearthly.
No, they've got these drones. They've got these. Yeah, they prod them, but they've got drones that they can just send in by the ton. They're cheap.
Yeah.
And the last time they did it, they proved it, and they couldn't shoot it down with their Iron Dome system that they have, which they're so proud of. And I don't think it would be a very good idea. And it's surprised that they've held back so long from doing that.
Yeah, it's, but I think they want America to get involved.
Right.
I think that's
why they have the Donald.
Yes. But no, that's always been a hot spot. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But the Middle East, and they sometimes bring up about was it China and Taiwan. Now, China would be shooting themselves in the foot if they attacked Taiwan, because you think of all that trade around the world that they would lose. No, they might do a few exercises around Taiwan, but I don't think there's anything to worry about there, to be honest with you. I mean, it would be a very silly thing for China to do, just for a pissy little island. When you look how big China is, so what, sort of thing, But who knows? But anyway, let's have a quick look in chat, shall we? And by the way, what's it like in Wisconsin today, Patrick?
It's kind of overcast. There's a bit of blue in the sky, but it's overcast with the sun, and it's real nice weather. It's probably about 20 degrees, 20, 23, 20, somewhere around there.
Really? Now, it's
quite
very
pleasant.
kind of you, Steve. You put in, was it, outdoor edge blade?
I put that, yep.
Rosalite EDC.
I put that's it.
And Hereditary Skeptic says, not nuts bollocks. Really?
He speaks a lot of sense, that man.
Yes. And then we got Peanut Lighter. Now it says here, is it Ed Miliband and his wind farm banjos at the ready? Oh, Ed Miliband. He's the sort of man, I don't know, I don't like saying this. He's got the sort of face you want to push in. You know what I mean? There's some people with this sort of, But
has he still got a job in politics? That imbecile, has he?
Don't know.
Yeah.
His brother as a charity, doesn't he? Heads a charity.
Does he? I'd just like to say hello to Ed Miliband and all these other mates in Parliament.
Yeah.
Losers.
Yes. Now, Mullane says, this is interesting. I was talking about Wells disease. I had Wells disease as a child from swimming in the brook at the bottom of the garden. Laugh out loud. Apparently, you can only catch it once. Oh.
I hope she recovered quickly.
Yes, I hope she recovered quickly. Yes. Now, it says, Eric, I'm in the studio. I know, I'll put you on. Patrick. Now, Chris, I carry a red camper. Oh, hello, campers. You camp it up, dude. You got a camping knife, you know. So I like a camping
Classic.
knife, please. Yes, that's it. Now, my Bowie knife is that sharp. I can shave my eyebrows off.
Good lad. Yeah.
That's it. Yes. And now, because you know that when sharpening a blade, I think you've got to do it at 30 degrees, haven't you? There's a special angle that you can put it at. And,
Yeah. Actually, that's one of the things I'll be teaching this weekend. Again,
really?
Shameless plug if anyone wants to sharpen their tools.
One moment. Now, do you want to hop over, Patrick, and come to Wales? It's the 30th to the 1st of June. You just about got time to get on a plane now, so there we go.
I have a feeling there's probably not much I can teach young Patrick about survival, given his, his understanding of the natural world and the skill set he's got.
That's right. Yes. But what cattle you got now, Patrick? You've still got cows or chickens and things like that? You still there? I think he's gone. No?
I'm on mute. I'm on mute.
Oh, you're
sorry
on mute.
about that.
Yeah, sorry. You still got some cows?
Yeah, I've got one cow. I've got one cow left. No pigs anymore. Last year, around this time, and we had about 130 toward the beginning of spring. Pigs, and we got rid of all of them, thankfully, because I'm tired. I just got tired of taking care of it all myself. And then I do the butchering and all that, and that's too much. That's too much to butcher at any given time.
Yeah.
And if you bring it to the local abattoir, and they charge you an arm and a leg, literally, for it.
Yeah.
You know, for the amount of money, they may as well get half of the carcass.
Are pigs difficult to keep? Because, mind you, they eat anything, don't they? Crap, they,
They're not that difficult. They're not that difficult. I mean, if you had enough land, you don't need that much land, really. If you have a regular food supply, you could just keep them in a nice little penned up. I know in Germany they used to keep them right. They'd build like the barn would be attached to the house.
Yeah.
And they'd just keep their animals in there.
Yeah.
But
well, they kept their animals in the house, keep them warm, didn't they? Because the animals gave off a lot of heat.
Yeah.
But, no,
easier to take care of them that way.
That's right. I mean, trouble is, do you have? I mean, I guess you're like your own vets. You don't have vets. You just look at, exactly how to tend to the animals. And
I never really had to call a vet except one time when we had a bull. He got locked up with his leg in a piece of barbed wire. Unfortunately, called the vet.
Yeah.
We're gonna put him out and then take the thing off, but he was already too far gone, so we just ended up slaughtering it because of that. And so we didn't really need the vet, but typically you'd only need a vet for like horses or pets. I mean, we took pretty good care of our animals. It was very rarely that they died outside of butchering and slaughtering intentionally.
I should think that they're it's all organic, isn't it? I suppose they're
pretty much, but we go to our local co-op, farmer co-op, and we would get grain, but toward the end we were feeding them just hay, which you can do. You can just get bales of hay and big old round bale and just throw one in there every month or so, and they would eat it up.
Yes, but I actually saw, because there's a lambing season, which I think it's just passed, isn't it? I think we've had it in spring. And a fella, again, on YouTube has made this documentary. And it was really interesting because you think, lambing, what is it? these farmers, they're born into it. I mean, you're born into it as well, and they are vets.
Kind of.
They're better than vets. I mean, incredible what their knowledge. I mean, coming from a kind of suburb, I haven't got that knowledge, and the way they tend to the sheep, and they get giving birth, because I didn't know that sheep have so many birth problems. I didn't realise that. I thought they just went and out come the lamb, but no, they have a lot of birth problems. So that's my ignorance, But no, I should think that their big problem is it's a lot of concern, isn't it? When you've got animals, they totally rely on you, really, to feed and things like that. But chickens, are they very easy to keep? Because you get your eggs every day. But the trouble is,
chickens were actually, I felt they were more trouble than the pigs or the cows. Yeah, because you have to go out there and you have to feed. It gets messy, and then you have to do it every day. Go out, collect the eggs. And then sometimes you'd let them out of the pen and they go out in free range for a while and then come back, and not all of them would come back. It got to be frustrating. And then they'd lay their eggs in the yard and they wouldn't come back. They're a lot of work, chickens are. But if you're in a suburb or someplace like that, it's a little bit easier. If that's all you dealt with, it's not that bad. But I had more problems.
They can be aggressive little sods as well, can't they? Apparently, if they get a bit broody, Do you have them go for you at all?
The roosters, they would go after. Yeah, I have little nieces and nephews. They'd go after them. Never messed with me because I just swat them and that'd be it. But
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, it's telling them who's boss, basically. Yeah. Do you have a farm dog? Do you have a farm dog at all? Do you have?
I have a sheepdog. It's a Australian Shepherd mix, something else. I forget what, but he's mostly Australian Shepherd. My dog Boomer.
Boomer. It's Boomer.
Get over here, Boomer.
I don't have a boom there, but no, it's quite interesting because if you try to look after a farm in this country, like you're doing, you would have absolutely heaps and heaps and heaps of regulations. You wouldn't be able to do it. But it's over-regulated. Because I told you about we having to register our chickens. If you've got chickens, you've got to register them. And people were getting frozen chickens from the supermarket and putting them on the website to actually crash the website. I mean, I think if you tried to live in this country, you would notice how communist this country really is, what a dictatorship this country is now. It always has been a bit of a dictatorship, but it's claustrophobic. It really is.
Well, I remember coming over there in '97, I think it was, it was '97, and then on our way back, just getting the we're treated like terrorists. Do you have bombs? Do you have this? Do you have guns? Do you have? And it's just like. This was before 9/11, and it was like that. It was like post 9/11 attitude. So but the person that did it, they were the officer was kind. He's like, yeah, well, when you come back, visit up north. That's the real country. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. But it was good.
They go through your bags. That's what I don't like. They search all through your bags and that. That's what they did last time.
Yeah, I don't think they did for us when we went in '97, but. I haven't been back since then, so I'm sure it's gotten worse, as it did here.
It's gotten worse. It's turned out like the UK.
Yeah, we're following you, so that's why we got to keep an eye on what's going on over there and help you out.
Well, we certainly do need a helping out because it's Starmer. Well, let's put it this way: I think he's slightly left of Chairman Mao, isn't he? I mean, it's just.
Right. What do they call them? The cultural Marxists, the ones that follow all the rainbow flag stuff.
Yeah,
I actually think that Marxism and they are mentally ill. They are actually mentally sick.
They are. I agree. There's something not right, and you can't. There's no logic there. There's a total lack of logos that they deny, and I do not like it. dealing with the people that I have that are communist that I've dealt with in the past. It's just this vicious nature that comes out in them.
That's right.
And there's no getting on their good side once you're on their bad side.
They live in a kind of fantasy world, but I think it was Professor Edward Dutton that said that before the Industrial Revolution, it was survival of the fittest when born, and a lot of women died in childbirth, and most children didn't live much beyond a year. But then, come the Industrial Revolution, then people hygiene raised the birth count because people were more hygienic, and more children survived. And then Karl Marx came around in about the 1840s, and he was one of the first or second generations that prior to the Industrial Revolution would not have survived childbirth, but he did. And I think the point that I think it was Professor Edward Dutton, but don't hold me to this, he was saying is that it's the people that would not have survived childbirth prior to the Industrial Revolution that are more left-wing communists. There's something mentally wrong with them. He's got a point.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can disagree with a person. As you know, we sometimes have a friendly disagreement. But with them, you just can't, there's nothing logical about what they say or do. It's just...
Yeah, it's hard. They they're set in stone what they believe, and that's it. There's no convincing them otherwise. And you talk about religion with them, and it's like you're talking to a brick wall. They don't get it.
That's right. And also, they all townies, mainly townies, they do not like countryside. That's why they try and destroy the countryside. They don't like countryside. They don't like anything. It's a very weird situation. It really is. But I'm optimistic. I mean, I think things are going to get better, and something's going to happen that we'd least expect. I mean, are you optimistic,
I hope so.
Steve? And are you optimistic, Steve, or pessimistic? How do you feel?
I'm a bit kind of on the fence at this present time. I mean, I think I'm optimistic, but that depends on one main thing, really, and that's really the improvement on human consciousness. And until people consciously improve their lateral thinking, then we're doomed, essentially. Hence, survive the apocalypse. We're in the apocalypse, but the word apocalypse itself actually means revealing. So the truth is being revealed slowly but surely. But until people act on what they're learning, for example, if they've learned or come to the conclusion that there was maybe something dastardly being done by world governments regarding certain health emergencies for it and other things, but they do nothing with that information, then nothing will improve. In fact, it'll get worse. But maybe getting worse is the way. It's probably the only way it's going to get better. Who knows? What it might mean, however, if you don't mind me saying, is the fact that for the people who do understand what's going on in you could say the political arena of the world today, understand the gravity of situations, then prepare for turbulence. And if it doesn't come, well, guess what? You've spent a few quid buying some outdoor gear or, extra food in your larder. But if it does happen, then rest assured that you've made headway into doing the right thing.
Very wise words. Very wise words. And what gets me is that a neighbour sort of accidentally saw my store of tinned food and said, "Oh, I know where to come when the chips are down." And I very deliberately said, "No, that's not tough.
You can come along, but you probably."
You give some to me? No, I wouldn't. You should have. I've stored.
By the front door.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a top tip for you. Kind of can of hairspray by the front door.
You can't
Yeah.
tell them where your bunker's located.
No. But no, I've been prepping for years because I do believe that when these things happen, they happen. So, I mean, for example, when we had the lockdown, there was a shortage of toilet paper. Well, I was all right because I had loads of toilet paper stocked up, and I think people were shitting themselves. That's why they needed more toilet paper and things like that. And I like what where are we now? I like what I think it's Paul has said. I bet that cow is shitting itself, Patrick. He's talking about your cow, yeah, shitting itself. But and Aunt Sally said, I've known city dwellers that kept chickens as pets and for eggs that take them to the vet when they're sick. One told me they
crazy.
paid a £200 bloody vet bill
ridiculous.
for one chicken. Laugh out loud. It's money to roll rope, isn't it? And
defeats the purpose.
That's right.
of the price of eggs.
Chickens eat everything. Nettles, worms, do they? Oh.
Yeah, they'll eat everything. You don't even really have to feed them. They'll eat all the bugs in your yard, everything. And they keep it nice and clean. I mean, they don't keep it necessarily nice and clean, but they eat all the bugs and they fertilize your lawn for you.
Do you get problems with foxes where you are? Because we have foxes over here.
I suppose
they like chickens.
Yeah, foxes and raccoons.
Oh, we got raccoons as well.
And badgers. Yeah.
Badgers, yeah, we got badgers. Mind you, your badgers are different to our badgers because I think are they honey badgers or something? They're a bit different, aren't they?
They are a bit different. The Wisconsin state animal is the badger.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? My council logo is the badger. Isn't that weird?
Is it? Yeah. That's bizarre. Yeah, my brothers were on the football team, the University of Wisconsin Badgers football team.
Wow.
The main college team.
Have your badgers got any road sense? Because they seem to don't do so well on the roads in the UK.
They have this habit of coming after your tires and biting them. They're fearless and they're vicious. If you have dogs, we had a dog once, a boxer type dog, and he decided he would go after a badger, and he regretted it. Yeah, and then porcupines too. Porcupines are no fun for dogs.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Well, did you know there was a dinosaur that actually ate porcupines? Yeah, it was called a Megasaurus. Sorry. Aunt Sally said, I was just browsing the outdoor edge knives, Patrick. Is it like a box cutter knife that you mentioned?
Yes. Yeah, it's razor sharp razor, replaceable blades.
And the other one is Paul, do chickens eat slugs? If they do, I'm in for one. So,
they'll eat slugs.
They eat slugs.
I'm guessing the slugs are causing havoc with our garden because they can be a nightmare, can't they?
Get some chickens.
I've actually got my garden is a slug and snail knocking shop. And have you seen these bloody leopard slugs? They were non-existent a few years ago. They're everywhere now. Have you got them up north? The horrible little bastards they are.
Do you know what? Touch wood, there's none in my garden. So hey, but yeah, there has been. I mean, I remember a few years back it was just a haven for snails. Yeah. Loads of them.
Oh,
another thing you could keep besides chickens, if you're looking for meat, you get some rabbits.
Well, rabbits,
they're a little less noisy.
Yes. Mind you, they're a bit randy, aren't they? The male rabbits are randy little sods. They're moody, apparently. They can be quite aggressive.
But the thing of rabbit is you can use the fertilizer from the rabbits right away, as a green fertilizer.
I didn't know that. Now, Aunt Sally says, is Chris muted or is it me? No, it's you, Aunt Sally. So... Yeah. Now, Paul says, I think badgers are being culled by farmers and then dumped by the roadside.
Oh, that's
That could
probably
be.
Yeah. Now, it says, Aunt Sally says, yeah, I can hear you on my phone. I've accidentally pressed something on my PC. No idea what. Oh, it's the mute me one. Anyway, I think we're coming near the end of the show now. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Steve and Patrick.
Thank you.
And remember, it's this
Thank you.
weekend, Thursday to Sunday. That Steve's got the weekend and details on we supplied details there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you very, very much, and thank you everybody in chat. And whilst I'm waffling, I've got to find the end credit. Where is it? Here it is. And what I'm going to say is join us. I'm on the Paul English show on this Thursday, I believe. And thanks to Paul English that we're actually broadcasting, and also for Patrick, also that we're broadcasting. So thanks, fellas. It's much appreciated. And anything else you'd like to add, Patrick or Steve?
Well, today here is Memorial Day, so I had the day off, which is like VE Day for you. So yeah, remember the fallen.
Remember the fallen.
Didn't know what they fell for, but they did, and they did it for the right reasons. Typically, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, exactly.
When you, as I said, I think it was the other night. You got the Vietnam War. What did those poor sods die for?
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Well, they realized too late, typically.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And anything you want to say, Steve, before we go to the audience at all, or anything? Steve, I think he's
sorry. You cut off there for a second.
Anything you want to say, Steve, to the audience before we go, or anything?
A big thanks for the guys listening in again. Nice chatting with yourself and Patrick, and a big thumbs up to Aunt Sally and all the others in chat, and kind thanks for the kind comments she made yesterday as well. So nice chatting.
Thank you very much, Steve. And all I've got to say is, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh and good night. Thank you very much. And if you could kindly put your thumbs up, that would be very, very helpful. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It really does, help a lot. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you could buy me a coffee. Details are down in the description box. And of course, there's a website, all the W's, FockhamHallRadio.com. That's long here. And why not pop into my Telegram channel? Again, details are in the description box. And also, you could also have a look at my Facebook page as well. That's also in the description box as well. Thank you very much, and good night, or